H3CHO can look a little complicated when you start, but as you get familiar with reading molecule atomic formulas, you will start to realize that the way they are written gives you information about the structure. We know that carbon must have 4 bonds, so we'll start with this carbon. When there are hydrogens written after a carbon, it tells you that they are bound to the carbon that comes before it. So this carbon on the end has 3 hydrogens bound to it. But we know that carbon must have 4 bonds. So it also must be bound to this carbon because it's next in line. And then that means that this carbon needs 3 more bonds, so it's going to be bound in some way to this H and this O. So I'll again start with the 2 carbons. So I'll put my electrons around the first carbon. I'll do my next carbon in a different color, like so, 2, 3, 4. And then I'll put my 3 hydrogens here around this carbon on the end. So 1, 2, 3. So that carbon has its 4 bonds. It's got its 8 valence electrons now. It is good. So now we need to deal with this N carbon. And we know that the N carbon has 1 hydrogen and an oxygen bound to it, but it needs 3 more bonds. So I'll put the hydrogen on, and then I will put the oxygen on this side, and I'll draw its valence electron. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And here we notice that there's an extra electron here and an extra electron here. And each of these atoms needs another bond. So carbon needs 1 more bond and oxygen needs 1 more bond. So the thing to do is to make a double bond. So put the one from carbon in and the other one from hydrogen in, and we end up with a double bond there. So our structure looks like this. We've got a carbon bound to a carbon, double bound to an oxygen and a hydrogen. And then this carbon on the end is bound to the other 3 hydrogens. And that is what our structure looks like.